Thank you, Patrick, and I know I need to do some shortcut to make sure you have time to eat, because there is another great program following this afternoon and tomorrow, which is really about talking about this gigantic consortium about human virtual twin. Thank you also for this great program, for the presenters and the compelling passion that you communicated about this, the importance of science to improve the world we live in. So the wrap-up is, I don't think I will do really the wrap-up, but I want to share with you a few ideas which really are related to the connection of science and the way the innovation can evolve over the years to come. Because in some way, the science is an incredible mechanic to virtualize the world. So this is what we do also with the digital techniques to represent, understand, create the world we want to live in. So there is a strong connection between this conceptual view of science on the virtualization of the world so people can better understand the effect of what they create, the circularity, and many other aspects to improve the world we live in. I would like to really bring to you an additional idea based on what we shared last year in Paris. As you know, every year we go from Boston to Paris, Paris to Boston, so it's always an exciting moment for this, which is really the introduction of this idea of UNIV+RSES, putting virtual twins together, in short, and connecting them together, playing with them together. And I think if you think about what Jean Piaget said years ago, you know, intelligence is essentially an organization, and its function is to structure the universe just as the organism structures its immediate environment. I don't think anyone creating anything for the planet, for human, can take a full abstraction or ignore the universe in which what they are doing is going to live in. I think human beings have massively underestimated the context in which what they create will be used by the society. Why? Because first, it's very complex, extremely interconnected. But if you think deeply about life, life exists because the existence of life has taken into account the universe in which life is developing itself. And in most of the 20th century, we have underestimated the context in which and how we do things and what will happen to the things we do for the environment, for the people. And this needs to evolve, and I think it's a huge opportunity in the 21st century to address that topic, which really call for something that we summarize under the word of harmonizing product, nature, and life, which is really harmonizing everything we can contribute to provide to the society with the context in which it's going to be used. And I think science is a wonderful, the science journey is a wonderful way to better understand the consequences of what we do. In order to do so, we have also seen over the last 40, 50 years an incredible evolution about how the maturity of virtual twins have created new ways through new representations, created new ways to create things, objects at first, for the society. Needless to say, you know, when you look at extremely complex objects like satellites, planes, it's amazing how humanity has created a level of reliability, a level of safety, never achieved before for something that only 2 centuries ago humanity would not know how to fly lower, high, heavy products. So in 2 centuries, it has been transformed. The possibility to understand the phenomena and to represent them with not only theory, abstraction, but proper representation and experimentation will continue to evolve. And my topic here is, what are we doing to connect those representations in an holistic environment that we simply call the universe in which people are creating, producing, and recycling the goods or services that they provide to the humanity. So that's the focus that Dassault Systèmes on our ecosystem, our clients are asking us to address, because this is where the future knowledge and know-how is. And there are new ways to reveal the future knowledge and know-how. If you think about the corpuses which have been created across all the industries in the past years, and you take those corpuses and analyze, first of all, it's a high quality of data representation. It's not noise. It's of extremely high quality. Because the ontology and the representation of those objects have this level of quality, it's very easy with AI techniques to learn from a very limited number of objects. So I believe there is a serious amplification between the quality of the representation of the world anyone manipulates, the abstraction level, the quality of the representation, and the speed at which knowledge and know-how can be revealed and reused, which goes against many of the current big programs in AI using massive volume of data, which sometimes provides not the result which are expected. And this is why, more than ever, I think that the science and the power of abstraction and representation of the world is an essential element to connect what we call in our jargon modeling, simulation, and AI to reveal knowledge and know-how. You know, if you think about the first airplane that was ever built 100% digital, the Boeing 777 was the very first on the planet object, 3 million parts, 15 billion investment, created fully digitally. If you think about a country trying to copy that airplane by just disassembling it, they have not been able to copy and replicate. With the high quality representation of those objects digitally, with the virtual twins, they would be able to replicate it. For the first time in the human history, something which is contained in a certain representation of the object has more value than the physical object itself. It has more value because you can replicate something that you would not replicate no matter how many engineers or scientists you have to observe the object itself. And I think this is a turning point. And this is what we call virtual twins. So we are building virtual twin factories for all customers, the world. But there is another consequence of the virtual twin. It's the best milieu, the best universe to learn. Because the quality of the representation the ontology, are such that with limited object, you can create new possibilities that human would have never thought about doing. And this is also another way to look at or to answer to the question, are we going to be limited to create new LLMs for different industries because of the lack of data? I don't think so. It will be because the lack of science, not the lack of data, or the lack of science of representation of the world. So that's the message I wanted to share with you, to tell you that the consortium we are building together, that will be the next program of the next 2 days, with this human virtual twin consortium, is so essential for the future of health on the planet, for the future of new therapeutics. On this excellent illustration of digital therapeutics is an illustration about how far it can go. It's not only chemistry, it's about understanding the phenomenon, playing and experiencing those phenomena, and revealing and making it accessible to people in a secure and high integrity way. So the science programs are essential. And I believe that the challenge for the future for all of us is to connect. And as our friends from Shift Bio illustrated, their dream is to transform the way we invent new therapeutics by not doing more, but elevating the approach, the representation, the process, the methods. Because at the end of the day, the power of the humanity is about learning how we can learn from each other, understand from each other, simplifying the extremely complex phenomenon of science in such a way that everyone can contribute to invent, create, and improve the world we live in. So that's why at Dassault Systèmes now we are looking at expanding this cooperation to create universes for satellites, for object that flies, for therapeutics, for food. There is a huge issue on the production of food for the world related to really we invest too much in correcting the problem we create with bad fooding. And then we are surprised that the health costs in countries are too expensive. But the education about having the right nutrition, the transformation of how we produce good food for the society will have also to change, and will be the best, probably preventive approach for good quality of life as long as possible. So this idea of universes is about taking seriously, before anything is created, the milieu in which it's going to be used and implemented, which is going to be as important as anything you create, develop, produce on life cycle later. So that's my summary for time reason. Patrick, I've saved some time here, but I think for the next event, next year, 2026 Science, we will have absolutely extraordinary illustration about how representing the universe can change the way you create products and services for the people and the humanity. So enjoy the next program. Thank you for participating to this one. And again, I think 21st century is a century for the science to be back in all activities that mankind are doing to improve life of people. Enjoy your program in Boston and enjoy the next forum. Patrick, back to you.
Thank you, Bernard. But you will not escape some questions because we have time. We have time. So let me do one. So we are really at the milieu, at the middle of the week after Science in the Age of Experience, and in 1 hour we'll be opening the Virtual Twin of Human Symposium. We all know, Bernard, that in the history of science, for medicine, we have been going from anatomical écorché, that was before the 20th century.
Da Vinci did a lot.
Da Vinci did a lot. To MRI and scans, we completely changed, well, which was more a technique. And now we have this conviction that we will see opening in the symposium that V+R twin in medicine can change the practice itself. Can you just expand a little bit on this for medicine?
It could take a lot of time. Huh?
I know. It's on purpose.
I have two observations I've seen for the world industry in the last 40 years or 45 years of my great time helping companies to build the best planes on the planet, the best cars, med tech, and so on. There are two things. The human attitude when they create new things depends on many, many factors, but there are two astonishing factors. One is, when I'm going to create what I create, can I go and fix it? And I will come to your question. So one of the reasons why the world of flying has adopted unique solution is because when the plane is taking off, you lose control. The engineers are not there to repair the plane when it's flying. In fact, the people who have been doing nuclear systems should have thought about it before. But you know, their attitude when they were creating those very complex nuclear systems was to say, we can go and we'll be able, if there is a problem, to solve the problem. So I think humans have the capabilities to evaluate risk in a far better holistic manner when they know that when that thing they have created is going to leave their hands, their control, it still has to work. So I'm concerned with so many connected things because in some way the attitude is it's connected so I will be able to repair on the fly. I think it creates new level of exigence, new level of objectives that need to be seriously evaluated with all the future cyber-connected systems to assume that when they get disconnected, how will they work? That's one piece. The second piece is human imagination comes from the dream, but it also comes from can I play with it? And I think the beauty, the multi-scale physics, the multi-physics, multi-scale representation of the world gives my 12 grandkids, I'm proud of them, 12 of them, the opportunity to see what you cannot see in real life, to play with things that you cannot understand in real life. And we have seen many examples here. So this human needs to be able, when they imagine the future, to play with a fiction, with a representation of a possible world that step by step, with great competencies, will go from a dream to a reality.
Including in healthcare.
Including healthcare, and of course, it's a new scale of observation. We are proud about all the chips which are done in the world, and we all claim that this is unique in this 21st century. What is unique in the civilization is the power of life. Everything else has a technicality which is of the third order of importance as compared to what we have seen for millions of years, the power of life creating its own metamorphosis to adapt to a milieu that has evolved over time. And we need to learn from that, and that's why I think the world of the industry of the 21st century will probably accelerate its metamorphosis, learning more from life and from the capacity for living organisms to survive to their own difficult context. But that's why I love the time to continue to be back to research and invent those representations of the world that will help people to create better things for the humanity.